and welcome to Kids Church. I'm Vicky and I am in another home of a family from our church today. Now, I don't know if you recognise this beautiful living room that I am in, but I'm not going to give any clues today. I'm just going to let these young men introduce themselves. So, number one.
Hello, I'm Seth and I'm 7 years old and my favourite food is pizza.
Woo! Number two.
My name is Samuel and I'm 7 years old and my favourite discipline is technology.
Samuel, 7, loves technology. Seth, 7, loves pizza. And you come tell everybody who you are.
I'm Annie. I love pasta.
Pasta. And how old are you?
3.5.
3.5 years old. Today's Kids Church is with the wonderful Wallace family. And today we are going to start with our art and craft with Nadia. So over to Nadia.
Have you ever got lost before? That must be so scary. Imagine you're walking with your mom in the shops and all of a sudden she's gone. That must be so scary. But what if she found you again? She'll run up to you and put her arms around you and say, I'm so glad I found you. Today we're going to make a little craft of hands that just wrap around you and say, I'm so glad I found you. Let me show you how to do it.
Today you will need a piece of A4 paper, some coloring markers or coloring pencils, a scissor, a pencil and some glue or sticky tape.
Take a piece of paper and put your hands onto the paper. You are now going to trace each hand with a pencil all the way around. There's my first one. And now it might be difficult to do the other one, but if you can't manage to write with the wrong hand, then just ask your mom or dad or a sister or brother to help you and trace all the way around. There we go. Now cut out the two hands. Now that you've cut out the two hands, you can color it in and make it look beautiful. The next step is to take a piece of paper and take the two hands and put it on either side of the paper. Measure the height of the ends of the two hands, that's there, and draw a straight line through. I will take a pencil and do that. There we go. Now in the middle of it, you can draw a circle. This is going to be a head. You can either have a circle or I like to make a fun face. Next, take some glue and put it on the back of the hands that you've cut out. Just put some glue at the back here on both of them. and stick them with the thumbs to the top, facing to the top. There we go. Now in the middle here, you can write something about getting lost and found. I'm going to write, I found you and I love you. Wow, look at what we've made. This is your mom or your dad or your sister or anyone you want it to be. And look, they say, I found you. I love you so much. And then the arms just goes around you and they wrap around you and they say, oh, I'm so glad I found you. Have you made your hands yet? Come on, give it a go. You will love it. See you. Bye. Bye. Bye.
It's story time with Granny Guacamole. It's story time with Granny McCurdy.
It's story time.
It's story time with Granny and Tori.
Hello everybody, Granny McCurdy here. So very excited to be with the Wallace family today. And we've already met the boys, which is all very, very exciting. And we've just seen Nadia's wonderful craft today. And what's so exciting is that Vicky has done the craft with the boys. So let's see what they've done. Who'd like to show me their picture first? Excellent. Right, what have you drawn?
A monkey with hands.
A monkey with hands. And what's your message that you're saying on yours?
Give me a hug, I'm cute.
Give me a hug, I'm cute. Well, that really is true. What a cute monkey. And can we see your hands go round for the cuddle, for the hug? Oh, look at this. And, oh, hang on a second. What have you got in your hands? What have you drawn?
A robot and a house.
A robot and a house. That is wonderful. Is that because you like robots? Yes, oh, wonderful. And then, oh, what have we got? Oh, my goodness me. Is that a square face? No. What have you drawn for us?
A creeper.
A creeper. Do we know what a creeper is, children? That might be one for the quiz later. A creeper. Is that from a game, by any chance? Which game would that be?
Minecraft.
Minecraft. I've got no idea what that is, but I'm guessing it's on the play box. Is it from the play box? Or is it from the X station? I'm not sure. Is that wrong? Have I got it wrong? Oh dear.
It's from the Xbox.
So it's the Xbox, not the X station. And so is it not a play box? What is it? A place?
It's an Xbox.
An Xbox. Oh dear, children, I'm really not very good with this technology. Okay, so an Xbox is where we play Minecraft. Isn't that good? Now we know. Now we know. Wonderful. And oh, look at your hands. Aren't they beautiful? And what's your message to everybody? What have you put?
Boom!
Boom! Oh, yes, boom. That sounds quite Minecrafty. If it's a bit like a mine. Oh, hang on a moment. Have we seen... Can you tell us what is the face? What is the face? What did you say the face was?
A crocodile.
A crocodile. Oh, that is wonderful. What beautiful drawing, Erin. And show us your hands. Have you got, look at these colourful hands. Aren't they just magnificent? And what is your message? Would you like me to read your message for you? Oh,
I don't know how to read.
Oh, my goodness. Do you know what? I didn't read till I was 87. You've got many years left. So it says, give me a smile like a crocodile to make me happy. What's a crocodile smile like? Can we do a crocodile smile? What do you think? Oh dear, that's okay. I know that's little boys, eh?
Yeah, I want to get out of here. I want to get out.
Oh! Right, boys, what does a crocodile do to smile?
Okay.
Just lots of teeth. Lots of teeth, teethy crockies. Well, children, we didn't just make funny faces and cuddles for no reason, did we? Nadia talked about people being lost and found. And today's story from our little first Bible is all about Jesus. Do we know who Jesus is?
Yeah.
Who is Jesus?
Someone who made the world.
Someone who made the world. Anything else about Jesus that you want to tell everybody? What?
He's a spirit.
He's a spirit. Anything else? What do you think, Owen? Who is Jesus?
Magic.
He's magic. Oh, there is something very magical about Jesus because he could do things called
Miracles.
miracles. That's it. But you know, it wasn't because he was magic. It was because God gave him these wonderful gifts through the Spirit. These boys know all of the words that we like to use about Jesus. Well, this story is actually about Jesus when he was younger. Now, I'm not sure if he was the same age as you or not. It says in the story that Jesus was 12 years old. Are you 12 years old?
No.
No.
I'm 3.
You're 3. He's 3. And you two?
7.
7 and?
7.
7 and 7.
But I'm 1 minute older.
He is 1 minute older. Well, I bet that gives you so much more knowledge. Does it? Does it fill your mind with lots of knowledge? And being a younger, does that fill you with lots of cheekiness? Yes, that's always the way. I am the second child. I'm a bit cheekier than my elder sibling. So the story, we do have some pictures. I can show the boys, we might show you a lot in a minute. It says, the little town of Nazareth was buzzing with excitement. They were getting ready for a visit to God's temple in Jerusalem. The fathers were busy with their packing, the mothers were busy with the food, and the children were everywhere. Jesus was going for the very first time. He was 12 years old. When you go away, who does your packing? Mummy. Oh, isn't that interesting? And who prepares the food for the journey?
Daddy.
Oh, we've got a disagreement here, Mummy or Daddy? Oh, yes. Does Daddy do much? Does Daddy do packing?
No way.
No way. What does
No,
Daddy do?
computer.
He's on his computer. Well, this is where the
For the
stories
whole
are,
day.
folks.
For the
This is
whole day.
for the whole day. This is where the truth comes out, doesn't it? Oh, what else do we want to know? Oh no, don't be silly, Granny. We don't want to get anyone into trouble.
My arm is itchy.
Oh, would you like to scratch it? Yeah, that's probably a good idea. So, they're off to Jerusalem. When they got there, the city was crowded. Its narrow streets were packed with people all going to God's temple. And God's temple's a bit like our church, isn't it? So they're off to church. There was a wall all around the temple with big gates like a castle. Inside was a big open square with more walls, and Joseph and Jesus crossed the square. Have you ever been to a castle?
Yep. I've never.
No? What about a big building? Do you ever go anywhere busy, lots of people?
No.
What about a train station?
Yep.
What was that like?
Busy.
Busy.
And also we haven't been to a castle with zombies.
A castle with zombies? Well, what an interesting place to visit. I don't think I've ever been somewhere like that. I've been to a castle that's empty. Do you ever, if you go to a big place like a train station and there's lots and lots of people, do you run about or do you have to stay near Mummy and Daddy?
Say no, Mum, Daddy.
Why is that, do we think?
Because we might get lost.
Because we might get lost. Oh, it's like we know what the story's going to tell us, doesn't it? Okay, it says, in the shade by the walls, the teachers sat. So teachers are a bit like preachers, a bit like our pastors, a bit like Nino. So let's picture Nino in our heads. They were telling the people about God and how to please him. They were answering questions, and Jesus wanted to stop and listen, but Joseph hurried on. Joseph was in a bit of a rush, but Jesus wanted to hear about all of God and how to live our lives for God. Just not a bad thing, is it? That night, the family had a special meal. They told the story that everyone loved, how God had helped his people to escape from Egypt long, long ago. Do you know that story? How Jews had to leave Egypt, and there was a man called Moses. That's the story. So that's what they retell. It's called the Passover. So they were telling this story, and then it was time to go home. Now the fathers were busy with their computer, no packing. They were busy with their packing. Didn't have computers back then. And the mothers were busy with the food, because that's what women do. And the children were just everywhere, because that's what children do. And no one noticed that Jesus was missing. Oh dear. Well, not until bedtime. The whole day they had not noticed Jesus was missing. He must have been a very quiet boy. Jesus was lost, and no one had seen him all day. Oh dear. Mary and Joseph hardly slept. They were so worried. So the whole night they didn't have their boy there. What do you think your mummy and daddy would do? Do you think they'd be worried?
Call the police.
They'd call the police. Yes, well that would be a very sensible option, wouldn't it? See, these boys know. What would happen if mummy went missing? What would you do?
Call the police.
Oh!
Laugh.
Laugh? Poor old mummy. I bet sometimes she could probably do with a night away. She might need a little break every so often, having 3 little monkeys to look after, eh? As soon as it was light, they went back to Jerusalem. Oh, they didn't go back in the night. They went in the morning, looking for Jesus. And they came to the temple, and there he was, safe and sound, listening to the teachers and asking questions. Jesus! Mary cried. Oh, she didn't just say, she cried. Jesus! Do you think that's how mummy would say it if she lost you? How would she say your names, do you think?
Laugh.
You think she lost you in a train station? Would she laugh, or would she call out?
She would scream.
She screamed. Go on then, give us an example. What would she do? Like that. Well, there we are. She just screamed. She might not say your name, she'll just scream. So she calls Jesus. We've been looking for you everywhere. We've been so worried. And Jesus looked surprised. He wasn't being naughty. He never did bad things, Jesus. But surely you knew I'd be here in the temple. It's my Father's house. Then he got up and went with them. So Jesus didn't think he'd done anything wrong because he was in his Father's house. So do you know the story of the Nativity?
No. Mummy, you always speaks like this.
Always, does she? We're learning so much about the Wallaces today, aren't we? It's good fun. The Nativity is the story of Jesus' birth. You know, donkey, Mary gets pregnant, angels, travels to Bethlehem, shepherds, kings. Yes, that story. That's right, yes. I can't remember where I'm going with that story. I had a link to it, but I'm so confused because I've been explaining it. I can't actually remember why I mentioned
Take your
it.
hair off.
Why would Granny McCurdy take her hair off?
Take your another hair off.
I haven't got any other hair. This is me. This is my hair. My hair is here. Just here. Just here in my hair. So anywho, the reason we talked about the Nativity is because Jesus is God's son. So when he says he's going to his Father's house, he means he's going to go and speak to God in the temple. But he wasn't actually lost, was he? Because he knew where he was. When you're lost, do you think it's because your mummy's lost you, or do you think it's because you can't find your mummy?
You can't find your mummy.
You can't find your mummy, can you?
My mother sleeps like this.
Jesus knew where his mum and dad were. He wanted to be in the temple. It was his mummy that couldn't find Jesus and hadn't really thought he'd be in the temple. But what's great is no matter where we are, Jesus is with us. Yes? And if we're feeling lost, we can turn to God and he will make us feel better and we realise that we're not lost after all. And on a more practical note, children, if you ever do get lost, do find someone, preferably a police officer or someone in a uniform, and ask them for help. Then when you see your parents, you can have a lovely big granny hug. Because I forgot to mention, Vicky made me one too. Isn't it delightful? That's my face there. Cuddles with Granny will make you smile. There we go. So, we all know that a big cuddle will help us if we've been lost. But what's lovely is if we believe in Jesus, we'll never be lost because he is always with us. Oh, boys, you look so excited by that news, don't you? Well, that's story time with Granny Macaulay over this week. Thank you to the boys for their lovely crafts, and I think it might now be time for some singing and dancing. Bye!
Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. He is higher than a skyscraper, and He's deeper than a submarine. He is wider than the universe, and beyond my wildest dreams. And He's known me, and He's loved me since before the world began. How wonderful to be a part of God's amazing plan.
Do. Nice skidding. Woo! Yeah. Great bit of flossing. About any air guitars? Yeah. Oh. Ready? Oh my days, wasn't that a lovely, lovely kids' church today with the Wallaces? So much fun with Seth, Samuel and Owen. So, it's that time again for a little quiz to see what you picked up on this week. I've not been very easy this time. So, get your keyboards ready or your phones or whatever you're on so you can answer your questions. So the first one, who drew a creeper as part of their craft? So you got three options. It's either Owen, Seth or Samuel. Who do you think drew a creeper? So that was the face, which was a square, and they wrote boom as their message inside. So give us a quick type. Owen, Samuel or Seth? Who was it? The answer is Samuel. I had to check that because I couldn't quite remember. Okay, next question, number 2. How old was Jesus in the story? So Granny Macaulay definitely said how old Jesus was, but they also discussed the age of the boys. So don't get confused with the age of Owen and Samuel and Seth. You've got to remember what age Jesus was in that story. Give you a couple of moments to type down your... I haven't got my keyboard today. I can't... I'm afraid. You just have to look at my face while you're doing this. I know,
So beautiful. So beautiful. The answer is 12. Jesus was 12 years old. Next question. Another age-related question. How old is Owen? Now, he did say 2 different ages during the clip. Slightly different variation. So I'll let you have a point for either. So at the beginning when he introduced himself, Owen gave us an age. And he gave us an age with Granny McCauley. Can you tell me how old Owen is? So we're going to go over a quick one here. He said he was 3 when he was with Granny McCauley. He said he was 3.5 when he introduced himself at the beginning. So either is fine. Okie dokie. Who loves pizza? So when the boys introduced themselves to us, one of them said they loved pizza. Can you tell me which? Young Wallace. Was it Owen, Seth or Samuel? So a lot of these questions you've got 3 chances really. So I'm being quite nice, giving you options. The answer is Seth. Okay, next question. Where did Mary find Jesus? So when she realised he was missing, where did they find him? Can you remember that from Granny's story time? Don't get it confused with the castle. Tick, 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 tock, 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 tick, 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 tock. Tock, tock, tock. It was a temple. They found him in the temple. Now this one is quite tricky, so you have to have been really paying attention to Nadia's craft. What message did Nadia write on the inside of her craft? So she drew that lovely head and the hands, and she wrote her message to go inside when it was hugging. What was Nadia's message? It has about 7 words. Can you remember? Two slightly different messages, one above the other. Okay, it said, I've found you. I love you so much. That was tricky. Be impressed if you've remembered that. Okay, second to last question. What animal's face did Owen draw on his craft? What was the animal's face that Owen drew on his craft? It was awesome. Absolutely awesome. If you can't spell it, maybe see if you type in the name, if an emoji comes up, or if you can search for a quick emoji of this animal. Well, animal might not be the right word. That could give you a hint. It was a crocodile. Okay, last question. This is really tricky, so you had to be paying loads of attention. Who was wearing a jumper that said, "Here comes trouble"? So again, this is one of the boys. It's either Owen, Seth or Samuel. One of them had a jumper on that said, "Here comes trouble." Who was it? What do you reckon? If you haven't got long to type, put an O for Owen and... Oh, that doesn't work. 2 S's. Okay, well, just write their names. Owen, Seth, Samuel. It was Samuel. Awesome. That is the end of our quiz this week and the end of Kids Church. Massive thank you to the Wallace kids and parents, to Seth, Samuel and Owen for taking part and being absolutely brilliant. Thank you to Natalie and Sherv for letting us into their home and their little secrets that were shared by the boys. And a huge thank you to Nadia for her arts and craft this week, which was fantastic. We will see you next week, hopefully with more children from church for our wonderful Kids Church. Bye.